Hey, what's up guys? UrAvgWarGamer is back with another video of World of Warships, and today I'm going to take a look at the newest Tier 10 Commonwealth battleship, or I would say a very heavy cruiser with 32mm plating, and that is the Irresistible. Now, this ship will be available, and I would say is available right now for 62,000 research points, which I would say is pretty expensive. I mean, recently Wargaming coming up with ship rotation, and I would say whatever you call it, like ship rarity scheme, that basically standardizing the ship pricing, and it really makes Irresistible costing you 62,000. And well, is it really worth it for your research points? Well, in this video I will be explaining the strengths and weaknesses and also its playstyle, which you already started to see here. It's basically the playstyle clearly kind of here, like only the kiting that you can do on this ship, right? And that's something that you only do on the cruisers, but in this case you're also going to do in the battleship like Irresistible. So, to give you some idea of what Irresistible really is, well, first of all, it has 16 234mm guns that have at least better shell velocity than I would say the Tier 10 British heavy cruiser Goliath. I mean, I will directly kind of compare with Goliath and more with the Commonwealth cruiser Cerberus, because it kind of feels like that in a battleship hull way, if you understand what I meant by that, right? I mean, it's still gonna take a lot of damage. I mean, if there's an overmatch, like in this case, the Shikishima and Yamato did really hit me hard with that 32mm overmatch, which at least not gonna happen a lot like you if you are kiting and positioning yourself like this. It's just I'm unlucky here, like that the Yamato and the Shikishima are constantly shooting me. I'm trying to do some damage to them, but they're also trying to do damage in return. And well, you don't have the super heals, that is very important. You have all over the place 32mm plating. So I mean, you suffered a bit here, at least in these sort of scenarios where the Yamatos are there, okay? So that is a very important thing, okay? Against Yamato and Shikishima, the better option to use Irresistible really is with these 16 guns, which does have insanely good fire chance. With the reload mod, you have like almost 300k HE DPM, which really makes it good. But one thing that I would like to mention, that this is not a cruiser dispersion, okay? The Irresistible does not have a cruiser dispersion, and you can already see that the dispersion is not looking super tight like you find on Cerberus, like you find on Goliath, because it does not have it. It has battle cruiser dispersion. So slightly worse formula than cruisers, better formula than battleships, but at least one thing that I would say, that 1.8 sigma really defines that tighter grouping, right? That tighter grouping that I am not kind of getting in Irresistible like that I find on cruisers. Sometimes you do get it, but most of the time you will definitely not gonna get it unless the ships are in close ranges. Then you can throw a lot of shells, and I mean 16 shells are pretty absurd, right, for a battleship shooting 234mm guns, regardless if it does have a pen or not. Like, it's still a lot of shells, right? So what I think about the Irresistible really, that against Shikishima and Yamato, I basically smoke up, or anything that is a big threat to you, you can smoke up, because again, just like Cerberus, it has crawling smoke. It lasts for 102 seconds. You can improve the crawling smoke action time if you use the captain skills and upgrades. No, yeah, captain skills does improve it, if I'm not wrong. But definitely the flags are also something that you can use. And I mean, if you want to worsen the dispersion, if you really want to worsen your dispersion, you can use the crawling smoke generator mod that you find on the upgrades. Like, that should be possible to use here. I mean, you can use it on Vampire too, yeah, right? You can use it on Cerberus, right? That smoke action time increase, that upgrade. I'm sure that you can do that on Irresistible, but it's gonna worsen your dispersion. Now that is, I would say, your poison. Pick your poison, because again, if you want to get some advantage with long-lasting smoke, then you are gonna be missing out on that dispersion. Okay, so that is something that I would like to mention. Also, I would like to say that with this HE spamming power, I find the Irresistible to be pretty powerful, without a shadow of doubt. If you get spotted, if you're getting spotting, in this case my La Pampa is spotting, I'm in a division, so it's definitely helping me out. And if there is no destroyer within 10 kilometers, because again, it's, I think smoke firing penalty is definitely pretty bad. And its armor scheme, you have already seen that. It's squishy. The ship is actually squishy, believe it or not. And the moment you are not angled, and you are greedy, like the greedy factor in the Irresistible is very important, right? If you are greedy in this ship, and if you want to use all the guns, then you have to show enough broadside that the battleship can actually citadel you. So the greed should be controlled, right? You want to do damage, I can understand, but Wargaming decided to give not really good firing angles, right? If you want to use all the guns, right, then you have to show quite a lot of broadside, right? Maybe you can go and check out the shiptool.st and you will eventually see what I'm talking about, right? And if you are using, you know, I would say 3 turrets, then you can get some better angling. And I would say, and I highly recommend that you use the 3 turrets instead of all 4 turrets. If you are fighting, for example, the cruiser like Petropavlovsk, right? Petropavlovsk has improved pan angles, Stalingrad does have improved pan angles. I think that's the cruisers that you have to be really careful of. Like Stalingrad can absolutely wreck you, right? Petro can absolutely wreck you. I was lucky here, the Petro didn't able to shoot on my broadside, but man, you have to really do angling. And even against battleships, if you want to perma-kite farm like this that I'm doing here, which you can do really well, without a doubt, like you use 16 guns with battlecruiser dispersion, it's still gonna make wonders. Like you will set fires, like as you can see here, I set 2 fires. You're basically a cruiser, regardless of whatever you call it, right? You are a cruiser with the battleship plating, with the battleship, I would say, captain skills, which again are a huge advantage, right? You can reduce the fire duration pretty well. If you want to do that, you can do that. You can use the acceleration mod, which again, you can do that, but then you have to really sort of sacrifice in the fire duration. I mean, if you use the fire duration upgrade, then you can reduce the fire damage, but acceleration can also be very, very good in this case.
Smoke generator started.
But I think since you do have the smokes, maybe you might need to be careful from fires more. That's what I believe. I mean, you can really use these acceleration mod as well. So that is totally up to you. Again, these are the things that are pretty much subjective. And as long as you are getting spotting, in this case, La Pampa is doing a great job. There are ships that are pushing. The Irresistible can pump out huge damage. Like you have these guns that set fires upon fires, and you have AP that actually have a decent pen. I mean, if there is a cruiser, like for example the Santander, just for an example, if I can take on that ship, Santander, or maybe a Hindenburg, or maybe something that is broadsiding at around 13-14 kilometers, or maybe at 15 kilometers, or at least if there is a Moskva, well, consider taking that. Like they will take a huge damage, right? The Citadel is definitely possible. In this case, the Santander is angled, so I mean there's no overmatch. That's a huge disadvantage for a battleship like Irresistible. But then you can just spam stupid amount of HE shells that I think you can be pretty okay without overmatch, right? The overmatch is a concern that you cannot do on the cruisers like Santander, but however, the Irresistible does still retains 234 overmatch that you can at least do on Minotaur, at least do on Colbert, at least do on Smolensk. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. So you can just still overmatch crazy on the light cruisers, right? The only thing that you might need to switch for is gonna be against Des Moines, Annapolis, something like maybe the Moskva or Stalin. Those are the cruisers that definitely need a treatment from your fires, right? Or from your HE shells. And your HE shells have a decent pen. As you can see here, you have like 39mm pen, which again is a bit of a threshold that is short. At least you cannot pen directly the Petro, or I would say the Napoli. Those are 40mm cruisers, right? So that's where you might struggle a bit with the HE shells, but again, you set tons of fires. 16% fire chance compared to the Goliath isn't that impressive. Oh, Goliath does have better fire chance. I think the Cerberus might also have better fire chance. I might need to check that, but man, this armor plating, there are Yamatos, right? There are Yamatos, there are Shikishima, they are overmatching me and doing huge damage, right? If not for the Yamato and Shikishima, I can tank really well against battleships, and I can still pump damage like cruisers. 300k HE DPM is no joke. For example, just for an example, Smolensk has 400k HE DPM, and I mean, you don't have that improved pen, right? In the case of Irresistible, it has 300k HE and still have improved pen like 39mm plating. So you can pen, for example, like the Thunderer, the Conqueror, maybe the battleships that have 38mm plating like Montana's. Those will take huge damage. They will just take full pen, unlike Smolensk that have to rely on hitting to the superstructure, right? Even though that HE might look more impressive than Irresistible, just for a reference, right? I'm not gonna say that the Smolensk is bad suddenly because of the Irresistible, but again, this pen makes a huge difference. Like the 38mm pen, 10 seconds of reload time, almost like 10 point something seconds of reload time. It just makes a huge difference. And you can see here, I have already set 14 fires. So yeah, that ship is no joke in just pumping out this fire and pumping out these penetration with HE penetration. So, but with all said, I was in kite. I was farming Centeter. I got the spotting from La Pampa. Now, the moment you push in Irresistible, things gonna go completely upside down, right? In this case, the Ruprecht cannot overmatch me, but then there is sort of again the thing, the greed. If you are greeding that and you want to use all the guns, then you have to show broadside here. And if you show broadside, if you are not fully angled, he can absolutely click you and kill you, like simple as that, right? And I mean, the Ruprecht just have this pen, so he can just do a lot of damage. Now in this case, I shot the guns, I use AP, and I was not super angled, but somehow the RNG decides to help me and I didn't get Citadel. I literally, I was very careful. I'm now here pretty much greedy, right? In this case, I tried to take down his turret, which I think you can usually do with this, with so many guns. Like this is something that I would say a sort of tip when you are pushing in. But here, the smoke does not gonna help you a lot. The secondaries of the Ruprecht, they will just gonna eventually kill me, right? I get a permanent fire. The Yamato at the end there, he's like, I'm gonna kill this guy. He just farmed me so much with HE, but I killed him back in return. But I mean, you can clearly notice that how ridiculous of a HE spammer the Irresistible really is, and I must say it is damn powerful in this. There is no other doubt of that. It's a perfect example of having Battleship bow and stern, so not having issues like Hindenburg and Henry that having 30mm plating all over the place, and you still have HE spamming like crazy. So Irresistible is sort of replacing a Battleship, but still having benefits of cruisers while still having benefits of Battleship sort of armor, except that it's not thick, right? It's not like 40mm suddenly. So, but still, it's a huge improvement compared to the cruisers. So why will you play cruisers? I don't know. If you have Irresistible, you are basically having a better cruiser. To be honest, it's a better cruiser. There's just no other way of saying it, except that it does not have hydro, except that it does not have a radar. These are the things that you can argue that maybe makes Irresistible sort of worse than cruisers, but I still kind of disagree. I mean, the tankiness is still there, even though it's squishy. It's gonna take huge damage, but then you have smoke, so you can smoke up. As long as no one is within your 10km range, you are gonna be doing just fine, right? As you can see here, Yamato, Shikishima, 5 damage, almost there to get the Wither. So this ship is pretty powerful, without a doubt. The Wargaming definitely makes it not only somewhat unique. I mean, it's basically a tier 10 Illinois with a nation flavor of Commonwealth. That's what I can clearly see or say. But I think the results are right in front of your screen. What do I think of this ship? Well, it's pretty straightforward. It's a kiting, very powerful battleship, not a pushing battleship, and is very vulnerable. Let me just go through the captain skills and upgrades, and then we will talk at the end whether it is really worth it for your money, or I would say your research bureau money, right? Okay, so before taking a look at the captain skills and upgrades and my final conclusion, I would like to showcase you my personal Discord channel that I have created just for you guys. So everyone out there can talk about World of Warships, what they want to do in their gameplay, whatever they can do to improve their playstyle or whatever. And I can personally hear your thoughts and opinions because I will be there for you guys. So if you want to do that, please join the Discord. It's basically free, nothing else. But if you really would like to go a notch up, or if you want to shift the gear to the upwards by directly supporting me, well, I have also created my Patreon as well. Just check it out for yourself. It's starting from $1 per month, because I would love that you can directly support me, right? If you can do that, because I'm kind of struggling, to be honest, right now. I have a lot of other things to do, and I'm also doing it as full-time YouTuber. So direct support, even it's costing you like $1 per month, which is basically non-existent, to be honest, you can do that. This will ultimately show that you care about this YouTuber, and I will also gonna pay you back in return if you are up for higher memberships, because there are some players who have already joined into my Patreon program, and I'm constantly talking with them. I'm constantly in touch with them so that they can get the best of the value that I have to give to them for their subscription. So go and check it out. I will try my best to help you as much as possible in this game. Anything that you need, once you are subscribing, I will have a super priority for you, and you can go and check that out. I think this is pretty much straightforward. Nothing else to say. And let's talk about the upgrades and captain skills and the conclusion. Okay, so this is Irresistible. Now, one thing that I would like to mention, this hull is a citadel. So you can really relate it with cruiser, but still having a thicker armor plating, which means that at least some cruisers at long ranges, even if they use AP, cannot citadel you, and that's the only advantage Irresistible does have. But the moment you are taking against Petropavlos with improved pan angle, Stalingrad, or something like, for example, even the Moskva with close ranges, you will take damage from cruisers, and you're going to be taking huge damage from battleships. I mean, you are basically a dev strike machine. I mean, as a victim, I'm saying, right? So you can be a big victim of this dev struct, right, by someone. So do not be greedy using all the guns. It's not having the best of the firing angles, but that is something that you should know. Okay, the armor plating is also not impressive. It's nowhere as good as you find like very tanky battleships out there, like Yamato, or maybe something like, I don't know, maybe even the San Vincent has like 40mm deck armor, maybe something like that, and it does not have access to super heal, right? So that is like the big disadvantage. However, you do have the heals. You have 5 heals, and you do also have the crawling smoke generator, which is definitely going to help you a lot. But still, the smoke firing penalty is something that you have to be very careful. 10 kilometer almost, smoke firing penalty means that if there's a DD, I think the smoke's going to get very useless very quickly. And you can simply crawl, right? And if you are in a bad position, and if you are not experienced enough, this is gonna make you feel bad, right? Okay, with that said, with that the armor gone out of the way, we will take a look at the upgrades. Okay, so upgrade is pretty straightforward. Main battery mod 3, improving the reload time, getting its DPM to almost 300k. Concealment system, I'm using acceleration. I like the acceleration. I need the acceleration to basically try to speed juke somewhat at long ranges. And I'm using aiming system mod 1, although I think you can use smoke generator, which can work because that can improve the action time to 124 seconds or something like that. Which, if you want 20 seconds more, you can do that. But if you want to, worsen your dispersion, because it's already having like battle cruiser dispersion and 1.8 sigma, so not exactly like cruisers. So it's a poison. It's a dilemma. And I'm going to say that using aiming system does help a lot against broadside cruisers because you want to get some citadels on them. The pen is good. The shell velocity is good. The shell flight time is decent. Alpha is pretty okay with AP. Fire chance is pretty good. So you just use the dispersion, right? And I mean, other things are pretty much straightforward. As for the captain skills, I think this is something that I'm using. It's pretty much no-brainer sort of captain skill build. Using fire prevention, I don't want to take a lot of fires, especially I don't have the super heal, so fire is definitely going to be an enemy of this Irresistible, even though it's a cruiser, and having the benefits of Battleship, even then, I don't think so it's a good idea to take fires, right? So fire prevention, concealment is actually pretty good, and that's actually a need for this Battleship. Otherwise, if you caught broadside, I'm telling you, you're going to get death strike by a Battleship that knows what it's doing, right? Then I'm just focusing more on heals. I want to get 6 heals so that I can tank somewhat for the late game. And then, I'm using Brisk. Speed is good, like as you can see here, 33.1 knots. It has like 32 knots base speed, if I'm not wrong. Hopefully, that's the case. So you can have like 36 knots with the brisk. So that can help a lot in repositioning, okay? And then you have the gun feeder, right? 40% main battery type switching time. Like this is very important. You need the gun feeder for sure. As for the consumable specialist, I don't think so you need that, although you can use it to improve the reload time. And that can be sometimes valuable if you want to disengage and want to have the smoke back. But even then, I don't think so. If you've really messed up with your position, then even the consumable specialist with the smoke, crawling smoke won't help you, to be honest. And then the third traverse, I don't think so third traverse is good, bad at all. It has 30 seconds of base third traverse. So this thing, you can really leave. I don't think so it's necessary on Irresistible. So I think this is gonna be my build. It's pretty much straightforward, no-brainer, tanky, and somewhat manageable with the gun feeder. And that's basically what Irresistible is. You want to improve the fire chance, I think that you should do. This will lead up to 18% fire chance, so that can help a lot if you really think of making it sort of a fire build. I mean, that's what really it is. It's the HE spammer in a battleship hull having tons of guns and can smash broadside cruisers. I have tried that, it works well. And squishy, again, is overmatch, like Yamato, Shikishima, Satsuma, what do you call it? Not Irresistible, is something that incomparable comes in my mind with Overmatch and Hanover. So these are the ships that you have to be very careful of. They can smash you. And you do have one more thing that I would say, you gotta be very careful. This is a huge citadel. If someone shoots at your bow, you're gonna be getting super punished. And this whole thing is a citadel. Carrier's gonna love you. Carrier's gonna really love you. AP bomb's gonna hurt you. So yeah. I don't know if you have met Enterprise and Irresistible, but I'm gonna tell you it's gonna be a stupidly painful experience. I don't wanna say that these are the weaknesses, but you also have quite a lot of strengths in return. You have decent range. And that's basically it. Your anti-defense is pretty bad. Sorry to say. It's garbage, unfortunately. You're not going to be defending yourself against CVs well at all, especially with the AP skip bombers like Shinano. Oh yeah, good luck. But even then, it's a very powerful HE spammer. And I would say, if you do want to get a cruiser on a battleship hull so that you're not going to get overmatched by 457s, while still have like toxic sort of HE spamming capability, right? And can still sort of having that kiting cruiser role that you love, but you just hate because the battleships does overmatch you. Except, I mean, Yamatos can still do that in Irresistible, but still, it's going to be a lot better than the cruisers, right? And if you are thinking that way, and if you are okay with the Hydro, and if you are okay that it does not have anything else going for it, like you don't have anything else like except the smoke, you don't have the spotter plane, then you can take Irresistible. It's a good battleship, in my opinion. It's a good battleship, but it's for very experienced players. If you are not having the experience to play this battleship, please consider yourself playing Ohio first. Even Slava would be better, right? Because Slava still, have a citadel, but it's difficult to citadel most of the time because it's having some unique scheme. I don't want to come to that point, but man, this ship is going to take a huge citadel. Man, this whole thing is really bad in taking damage. So you can think of it as a bigger, fatter cruiser and having a lot of HE spamming capability. So if that's the thing that you would love to see, while also having the smoke, so if you want to get a bigger Cerberus, I would say, that does not come up with the submarine surveillance, which I would have, I mean, if the Wargaming would have come up with submarine surveillance in Irresistible, that would have really make it even more interesting. But they didn't come up with that. Or maybe improve range, like in the case of William de Oreste. So airstrikes are pretty much not, powerful like you find on Cerberus, right? So if you're okay with these things, I think Irresistible is a good battleship. Otherwise, if you don't really able to position yourself properly in kiting, don't buy this battleship. I'm telling you, it's gonna be very difficult experience. I can tell you, the damage I can pump in the game, maybe you might not be able to pump because of the mispositioning that you can do several times in the game. It's not gonna be good in that. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you like it. I hope you get the idea of Irresistible with this single gameplay. Maybe I can post a couple of videos if you want to. But at the end, I would like to mention my Patreon members who are right now directly supporting this channel. let's go to that. Finally, I will definitely gonna be giving a huge shout out, or I would say many thanks to my Patreon members who, the moment I uploaded the Patreon or set the Patreon up, they have applied literally at that time. Exactly. So these are the very important people for me because these are directly sort of supporting the channel. And if you want to do that, I have explained that previously. You can absolutely do that. You can directly talk to me if you do this, and I will definitely gonna appreciate. Even if you are willing to give maybe $1 or something, that can help me. I'm a small YouTuber. I don't earn that much, but if that's the case, I'm giving you guys time and review like this, so you can definitely help me back like this. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you get the idea. I hope you get some knowledge about the Irresistible. It's not irresistible, to be honest. You can pick Ohio that is better than, like, that is definitely better than the Irresistible, for sure. Even the Slava, sort of in its niche, is better. And I mean, Slava can definitely completely wreck the Irresistible if he broadside. Like, the Irresistible getting broadside against Slava, ouch. It's gonna be a painful experience. But anyways, I hope you guys get the idea. Till then, catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.